said, this is not my daughter, this is our daughter, our sons. And these kind of meetings that we're having, presentations, are so essential to let people know about mental illness. Otherwise, it's always been under the cover. It's been in the woodwork. It's coming out now that it is a brain disorder because the stigma of it, if people are ashamed that their son has it, their daughter has it, it has to reach this level of education. And another thing I want to say to you, Miles, is that it's much easier to manage bipolar 2 than it is bipolar 1.
But he's schizophrenic. I think he was diagnosed as schizophrenia or something like that. But I think he has a mix, depression, schizophrenia, whatever. Now they're saying that he is talking more. And I didn't know that Risperdal, I've used it as a registered dietitian in the hospital. I know about it, but I didn't know that it was one of the medication because he was just accustomed to Haldol and he wouldn't take it because Haldol has this terrible, if there's no cogentin, that he's strangling, feel like he's strangling and so on. But then giving him Risperdal, I didn't know that that could be used for, bipolar and schizophrenia and so forth. And the doctor has
I want to just give somebody else a chance
to
talk.
A good level.
John, you were mentioning that phone call to your daughter.
I forgot to tell you.
I'd like to hear the end of that story, if you wouldn't mind. And you mentioned that I was just wondering, what kind of treatment was she receiving prior to her jumping, if it made any difference?
She was seeing a psychiatrist in Miami Beach, and I had seen the psychiatrist with her several times, at least 5 or 6 times. She wanted me to come in with her. My daughter wanted me. She was seeing what they call a Froom psychiatrist. Froom means very religious Jewish woman who wore, the title, which is a wig, And she was a psychiatrist, and when I was in Wisconsin and I spoke to my daughter, I said, Tammy, I have to ask you this question. I never asked you before. I don't want to ask it, but I have to. I said, have you ever thought of killing yourself? Now, this was a lucid moment. This is exactly what she said. It's in the book. She said, Mom, I want you to be reassured that I will never, ever do anything like that for 3 reasons. She already had it in her head. What are they? She said, well, first of all, I would never kill myself because I would never leave a legacy like that to you, Daddy, and my brothers and sisters. That would be the worst thing that I could have you think of me as. The second reason is, she said, you always tell me that I have the fakakta fantasy, that the devil's going to take my soul. Well, that would be like giving it to him. And the third reason I wouldn't do it is because I'm Jewish. We're not allowed to kill ourselves. That made perfect sense. Yet, when I hung up, that intuitive mother feeling said, I don't know, I don't feel good, and I called the psychiatrist, and I said, Carol, listen, I'm away, I'm going to be away for about 2 weeks. We were all exhausted. My 2 daughters were away. She wasn't living with me at the time. She was afraid to live with me. She saw demons around me. So she went to live with her 2 sisters who were totally inequipped to handle her, one in college and one at work. And they would call me at night and say, Mom, you have to do something. We don't know what to do. And I didn't know what to do. And I'm a therapist and didn't know what to do and couldn't get the backing. I couldn't get help. So I called Carol and I said to her, the psychiatrist, I said, you have to do me a favor. I know you're seeing Pam Thursday. This was Tuesday. I know you're seeing her on Thursday. Please do me a favor. Her support system is gone. We're in North Carolina. We're going to North Carolina separately. I was coming from Wisconsin. The kids were going up from Florida. I don't feel good about her being with her father because I don't think he understands the implications of this illness. And I just would like her in the hospital. She said, well, her hospital, her HMO is not going to blah, blah, blah. I said, well, I don't care about the HMO, just put her in anyway because I want to feel that she's in a safe environment. And she said, well, I'm going to see her Thursday, but she is not suicidal. I said, how do you know? She said, well, she's psychotic, but she's not suicidal. I said, Carol, she's delusional. She could get a delusional demand to throw herself out the window. That's what I said. Okay? Not only that, I dreamt about it 10 years before she was even showing symptoms. There's a lot of esoteric spiritual stuff that's involved. I want to stay away from it because I don't want you to think that I'm going around the bend. The fact is that there's a lot of stuff that I had intuitive, like a sixth sense. Carol said, okay, I'll see her Thursday and I'll make a decision. I said, no, the decision is made. Just for my own sanity, put her in the hospital. She never made it. She died in January. She had a 1 o'clock appointment and jumped out of the window.
Maybe her question.
When her father was in there. I can't tell you everything. You'll read the book because it has a lot of stuff in it. But that answers your question.
Maybe asking her prompted.
I'm sorry?
No. Asking her